Tonight, I thought I'd go over a Waldstein-focused summary of the Ogre patch notes. If you main Wald or play another character, you'll be sure to get a quick peek at what's most important for all the matchup changes in this huge patch. First, we'll start with the big man himself. First things first, 360B on a punish is untechable, so anything that's in a proper recovery state you're just grabbed. It's also plus 36 now, so we can assault and get a nice safe jump there. Anything that's minus 6 is just grabbed, which is amazing. That's going to be absolutely huge for so many matchups that were like just not very good. We'll see just how good the changes are, but I'm very hopeful. Everyone's very excited. It's great. The next thing is that 236A has a taller hitbox now. Or not just 236A, but all of the versions, but it's most noticeable on 236A on the Smart Steer. Most notably the harder versions of the Smart Steer, so like 623B. So, I don't know if you caught that, but you did not have to press the dash 5A like we used to have to do. So, this route just got a lot more accessible. Definitely do this if you can. There's a number of routes where it's particularly good, like the 623B, the 4B starter, well, not the corner, but 4B into this stuff. You'll be doing the same thing. Just anything on the wiki that has that JC into JB dash 5A, it's just regular 5A now. Next is increase 5C. That does more damage. That used to do 810. Increase JC does a little bit more damage. I didn't see what the original damage values were. But 4B also is supposed to do more damage. The most optimal DP punish seems to be 5C now. Let's get an actual DP here. Uh, 4B hits higher. So this is going to be a weird one. It's going to open up some more new routing. Oh yeah, that's exactly what it was. That definitely would not have hit in the previous patch. So a little bit more combo stability probably. I know that there's going to be more new routes somewhere. Like, we would have found the routes, but because they didn't connect, we just forgot about them. So I'm sure they'll surface back up eventually, but for now, it's some pretty good combo stabilizing. And lastly, our 5C, our throw increase is EX cancelable. Except I don't really know what to do about it because it uses a bounce instantly, and it's extremely prorated. So there's 2 bounces. You can't even get an increased clap there. Like, he just recovers so fast. We did find that you can do Smart Steer, but it's a little hard. Like, walk back, and then you have to really mash it out. No, there's no delays. Let's see if I can get it once. Yeah, there we go. So you have to delay the actual final piece of the Smart Steer. But if you can get this, it's going to be super strong, especially in the corner. I think it gives more utility, especially against the creeping edge. So like, you know, something like that. And then this is +0 also. Frame data. Well, that was +2. There we go. So it is +0. Yeah, throw combo, weird but cool. It is a way, like, you know, 360A does, you know, 2000. Maybe there's a situation where you're holding down back and you just press 1 AD because it's good, and suddenly you're doing a bit more than that. Like, it could be the difference between ending a round and not. So we'll just have to really, really experiment with that one. First up in the character list is Hyde. The most important part of his patch is that his 2A has some extended range now. He can hit us pretty far, and with the frame data counter, you can see that it has a 5-frame startup and is -2. That part's the same. We still can't mash out of it. That part's the same. We have to really commit to a shield or 360, and if we go for 360, he can just, you know, that'll absolutely kill any 360 attempts. You know, between staggers, machine gun, doesn't matter. That's going to be fun to deal with. Next is 660 nerfs. It lost foot invulnerability. So if you didn't know he had it, he doesn't have it anymore. This means that we can press 2B in neutral and we won't randomly explode to 660. And then minor, but something about the cancel window being lessened. It might make it a little bit easier for us to contest it. I don't know if Hydes were even staggering against me, but if they were, they gotta do it tighter. And then lastly is some changes to 2FF. It's a little bit shorter, but Wald didn't really struggle with this move in the first place. He just pressed JC or 22B and it just deleted it anyway. So that part's gonna stay the same for us. Second in the list is Linne. Just like Hyde's 2A, hers is now -2. This is very significant. Before, she could at least get punished with a 360A if she tried to no-cancel this, but now she could just hold up and do some dive kicks stuff and, you know, not die, or actually just kill us. If I can... Yeah, there we go. I'm not used to playing a fast character. So that's going to be also very fun to deal with. And then the other big thing is that 5C has a shorter cancel window now, so it's been nerfed. That means no, you know, super delayed 2Cs like she was doing before. She has to keep it a little bit tighter. So it's no more 50-50s out here anymore. Or at least what felt like a 50-50. I'm sure it was fuzzy blockable or whatever, but anyway, so that's at least some good news. Next up, we got Carmine. The first big thing in this matchup is that guard thrust has been improved in different ways. Something about hitbox being bigger or taller, something like that. You can still bait it out, so it's not going to be perfect. Now it's on counter hit, on block. I don't know if I can get him to block. So maybe he'll get better combos. So anyway, still use it sparingly, but it's seeming to be an actual option now instead of troll. And then the second Carmine change is something about the force function launch properties. He can do some sort of combos. I don't know what it is, but if he's using force function, that's giving us grid, and that's a good thing. So overall, I'll definitely take those grid thrust changes. Moving on to Orie, this section will be a little short because a lot of her stuff looked like quality of life changes. Nothing really stood out to me as negatively affecting the Waldstein matchup, but with the changes that we got, she might not be able to divine thrust as easily because now we can just punish her. So that's going to be really nice. She's still pretty safe back here. If I could tech properly, you know, whatever. But she's going to have to be a lot more careful on how far she has to be. Especially now that we can dash shield, if I can control Wald for a moment. Like, we can definitely adjust our spacing and really make it difficult for her to get a clean Mega plus Divine Thrust. Gordeau got some pretty good changes. He's got faster walk speed. This matchup's over. He has less recovery on 5C. Depending on how much it is, maybe if I can get Wald to Creeping Edge here. I don't know how minus this is going to be. It's kind of... There we go. Okay, so we might still get a punish there, depending on how early we Creeping Edge. but we'll see. And he can also, if I can give myself Vorpal as Gord, he can do that and not get grabbed, but you know, just he already won neutral and now he can do it with the move that aggravates me the most. So I'll be definitely closing my eyes every time Gordeau is on screen. Next up, Merkava got some pretty good changes. Worms now don't disappear on block, even if he doesn't have Vorpal. So let's get Wald to do 236B or something. Then we can do that, tell him to do it, and the worm is still there. So that's a pretty good change for him. I don't think it's like that bad for Wald, because we can still press 2-2B after the worm is active. So if I'm back here, as soon as it's active, it just kind of squishes the worm. So that's funny for us. Merk is still gonna have to play around that move, but he does have grabby arms. If I can never actually pilot it hard. You know, something like that. You know what I'm trying to do. Next up, a positive change for Wald is that we have a new punish. We can finally punish this move. This was unpunishable before. It's -6, which is 1 frame too soon for DP, but now we can at least get something, even if we don't have meter. If we're grid broken, we're kind of out of luck there, but you know, just don't get grid broken. Smaller changes, 5A is faster, like faster recovery, so he can do the rebeat a little bit better. Let's turn off so you can actually see the frame data. I'm guessing it was better than worse than -4 before, and now it's better. Whatever. 4B is much longer. Like, wow. Not excited for that. I played against a pretty good Merc the other day, and he was space trapping me with 4B, and I'm just like, what is going on? As an anti-air, it's already really good, so I'm not really trying to jump against Merkava that much anyway, but just this horizontal range is just like, ugh, terrible. Another short section, this time for Vatista. Her buffs appear to be related to cancel windows on some projectiles. I don't really know which ones or care which ones really. I'm in the opinion that the less projectiles she uses, the better off she is, because Wald just farms grid off of anything that you throw at him. As far as 360B goes, 2FF, if we're outside of, or if she's outside of our 2A range, then at least we still have a punish. Here we have Seth. He got some pretty interesting buffs on force function. If I press this move, then it shouldn't disappear on block. Yep, so there you go. So like, the projectile itself can still clash. So like, if I do this, like, that still works. Like, you can still kill the projectile as it's traveling through the air. But if he empowers it, you can't be too early, or else, you know, just weird stuff's gonna happen. He did get some backdash buffs, something about it being faster. Honestly, whatever. His backdash was already kind of hard to hit. Like, 236A is kind of stubby, and 236C, you know, it's just kind of risky just for it to get blocked. And now his backdash is even better somehow. I think it's faster recovery or something. So I'm just gonna let him do that. I'll take the grid. Other change is that the DPs are now air unblockable. They used to be air blockable, so I used to jump at them and like do a delayed 360 and it would air block or grab. But that doesn't work anymore. But that's okay, because most of the time if they're doing DP, they have CS anyway, and they would air unblockable you after the chain shift, so it's like, whatever. Yuzu got some pretty interesting things. I'm gonna start with the things that I can understand. So the 6X series got buffed a little bit. The 6C is unchanged, 6B is 1 frame faster, and 6A is 2 frames faster. I'm a little worried about the faster ones, especially 6B. She can, like, this is the range that we want to press 236A at, and she can, like, just barely hit us. Like, yeah, she can get hit here, but, you know, it's not going to be easy. You know, she's going to be dashing 6B, whatever. Next up, the stance dodge, the air dodge whiff has a longer whiff recovery, but I think that's only gonna matter if she's like not super like stance jump high. Like teleport into, like, I'm still not sure if I want to press after teleport stance dodge. I'll probably try it a couple times just to see, but I mean, just based off of that, I'm not too hopeful. Like I did it the first time, I think it's most noticeable after a full stance jump. But I don't think Yuzu does that too often, so we'll see where that goes. Before the other stuff, stance is now punishable with 360. Honestly, I'm not really trying to press stuff when Yuzu's in stance, but to have one of our fastest options, like 360B, is just that good now. So that's going to be nice. Going back, I mentioned this under the Carmine section, but being able to dash shield is going to help our neutral quite a bit. I want to see how that works in an actual Yuzu matchup, so you know, hit me up if you're a Yuzu player. I want to see dash shielding, I want to see it lose, I want to see it win, just use it. And then, as far as the stuff that I didn't understand, she had some stance jump changes. Like, I couldn't get it to work, and I'm not honestly too interested in how it does. I'd rather just see what a Yuzu player actually does, and then just kind of base my game plan around that. I don't want to... It's just annoying. I'd rather do stuff like make videos or just play the game. So try to be a little bit more defensive when she's in the air, see what she can do, and we'll see. Hilda got a couple changes, one of them being to C teleport with the little mini skewers there. I don't think this will be too much of a deal, because I'm pretty sure Wald can just press 1C or 3C and catch whatever she's doing. And even if she does that, if we're early enough, we might be able to just 3C or 2C with the projectile deleting properties and just kill her anyway. So just press C button when she's doing that and see what happens. Next, force function has earlier foot invuln, so when I want to be in the corner. So when we're pressuring her and we're trying to catch her with command grab, if she presses this, she'll beat command grab and also 2B. So be on the lookout for that. And probably 1A too. I'm pretty sure that's a foot move too. And then lastly, skewer. This has some more like knockback or something, so her combos are probably going to be stronger, but we can still crouch under it. And we still have our awesome whip punish. I wanted to do that, so let's see if I can control both. Oh, that's gonna be hard. Oh, there we go. So yeah, we still got that whiff punish, so yeah, it's a better move, but maybe not against Wald. I didn't really see too many changes that seemed too impressive for Chaos. Maybe I'm just not understanding them correctly. I know there was something about Fire Breath, so I'm gonna be paying special attention when he does this, see what Chaos players use before and after, see if it feels any different. There were supposed to be more changes to the wall stick, but we still press J2C when we see it, and you know, if he's too far, then it's just kind of whatever. Like, unfortunately for Nanase, there was not anything in the patch notes that looked like it was going to help in this miserable matchup for her. And with the changes to 360B, like the few changes, or the few instances where you might be able to get away with the with that sequence, 360B is just going to scoop it up even more. I know everyone's seen the Byakuya changes. 5A is extra long range now. 2A has a little bit less whiff recovery now. So not only is it -2, but I've seen people talk about being able to rebeat something like that and get a combo. Stuff like that's always really annoying, especially if it's not a counter hit, because it's like, man, I'm just trying to walk back. But anyway, Dash B version is supposed to have less recovery, so that's going to be potentially harder to whiff punish. I loved using JC against this move, and so I have to see how the recovery plays into that. 660 has more range, so now we got to play footsies even harder. 3C is an actual anti-air. It's like more active and more invuln or something. If we somehow get Byakuya to stop pressing this button, then he can actually fall back on a real anti-air. That's not going to be fun. And then a bunch of shit about webs. I have no idea. There was so much stuff that I'm just like, man, I'm just going to pretend there's no changes and I'm going to see what happens. I will say, though, that in one of my matches with a Byakuya player, he had that web. Whoops. He had that web. How did I do that? There we go. So I did my usual shield BDP, and in the instance in the game, it didn't clear the web. So I don't know if it was just like, not a bug, but just like a really fringe instance, but I would double check that it actually still works in most cases, because, you know, he did the normal full setup, like, you know, 623C. I don't want to record, you know, he did, you know, all the webs, whatever it is, and the BDP just didn't kill the top one for some reason, so be on the lookout. Phonon got some similar changes with the rebeat. 2A has like a frame or two less whiff recovery, so she's going to be rebeating into combos a little bit more often. Other than that, 3C is supposed to reach its max range faster, and 4B is more active. I didn't really notice anything else beyond that. Mika got a ton of changes, but the ones that affect Wald the most are probably the missile ones, where there's no more minimum height requirement, so she can do something like this. I do remember that you can do something like that, so that's gonna be interesting, to say the least. And then some general move changes, like 3B is better, a better starter, 6-6B, both hits are low now, and force function, I think the whiff recovery is supposed to be, whoa, yeah, that's much faster. I highly doubt I'm going to be able to whiff punish that on reaction, so this is definitely going to be Scramble City if you play Mika. Wagner got a couple changes that'll negatively affect Wald. 5C and increased 5C are supposed to be bigger. These moves killed me plenty before already, so that's just going to kill me even harder. 6-6C, while it's empowered, is supposed to have more range. So that's going to be interesting, especially with the increased... it's weird, so she backdashes faster, but the duration is the same. So she's going to avoid your attack and then 6-6C right after, and it's going to whiff punish like anything that's remotely slow. And then lastly, the first hit of 6B is supposed to have more block stun. So I don't know if this was -2 or not, but even if it was, like, -1 is really not something that Wald wants to contest. But I have a feeling that we're just gonna have to pick our poison, and it's like, you know, pick the -1 where she's just gonna press 5A. Like, that's like a 6-frame trap. Not very good for us. But yeah, I say good luck for all my Waldstein players. Enkidu got some pretty cool things, but I don't think any of them like are particularly useful against Wald specifically. 360C is now a real command grab. And speaking of that 6-6C, that's supposed to be faster. I don't know how much faster it is, but I mean, it appears to be the same as a non-Enkidu player, at least. Big buffs to parry. I think the B parry is gonna be something that's gonna be really cool to see happen. Like, he's gonna B parry and get a real combo off of it. We'll see how that goes, but overall parries are supposed to be improved a little bit. I did not see too much stuff about 6FF, but now, like, we should be able to whiff punish it properly, like get a good 360, and you know, if we're like, oh, you know, something like that. Like, I know for a fact that before this change, like before this patch, I would still 360 be there and try to get the counter hit and fail, but now it's gonna be nice and easy. Like, that's crazy. Not gonna spend too much time on Londrekia. I know everyone's aware of the change to the lack of combo ability from Ice Rain. Honestly, I wish he kept it just for the fact that, like, I used to love pressing Creeping Edge whenever I saw Super Flash. Some Londrekias would do this, and now Creeping Edge, and just punish them for it. The last fun change, though, is that 22X, this move, is now a projectile. So if we do something like this, those, you know, shards used to kill us. We couldn't do that, but now we can. So I definitely want to hit a Londrekia who forgets that this change happened. As far as Tsurugi's patch notes, everything just looked like damage and recovery changes. The main thing that affects Wald is when you're in stance, you can now be grabbed. Honestly, I think this should have been in, like, day one, as far as this specific interaction, but it's here now, better late than never. During my initial read-through of the patch notes, I was a little worried because the first thing I see is 5A being wider, and after seeing Byakuya's 5A being wider, I'm like, oh god, this thing's gonna hit from, like, across the map. But I think it just matches the sprite better. Like, it's not anything crazy as far as I can tell. Her 2A is now a 5-frame, so that's another 5-framer that we're gonna have to deal with. The 5C has a longer cancel window, and in conjunction with 236A having more range, this is gonna be a more potent frame trap, which I'm not excited for, but she probably needed it. Like, I don't know. It'll probably be more fun to fight Kaguya at least, so even though she got buffed, I think they're good buffs. Along with the 236A, 236B looks way faster than it used to be. Thankfully, we can still crouch under it. I'm still going to attempt to Creeping Edge the second hit. I'm sure we'll be minus for it, but, like, just being able to advance against a full screen projectile like that is, you just gotta do it. Alright, big man Kuon. So positive changes for Wald is that force function empty low is supposed to be a lot slower compared to how it used to be. Like, there's supposed to be actual landing recovery for that. So we'll see how it goes. I'm sure it's not too long, because I mean, he still has to be a usable character, but it's hopefully not going to feel like instant low anymore. So we'll see how that goes. Next, 3C can be CS'd on block. I guess he couldn't do that before, but he can now. So before it used to be... Oh, I didn't even get it there. Oh, they changed it. So he used to do 3C into this one, but now he can only on block do that. Maybe not last, but he can't do the EX cancel there anymore, I believe. On whiff. Like, on hit it still works, if I can... Yeah, or on block, so... But no more whiffing into plus frames. Like, that was crazy. And then Now, lastly, his rebeats are supposed to not be very good. So, let's see if... Okay, so if you shield, which you should be doing because you want that grid, we're gonna get some nice 360B punishes. That'll be exciting to try out, because I know it's been... Well, I've at least agreed that our answer to Kuon has been shield into DP, shield BDP, because it's the fastest strike. But now that the 360B does what it does, oh. Anyway, it's still gonna be really good to press. Uzuki got some cool changes. Item toss is less crappy, like it starts faster, recovers faster, so she's gonna be using it more often. You'll notice this on your own, but the item rotation carries over between rounds as well. So you're gonna see more of these two items, and you're gonna have to deal with them as best you can. Her air poison, this thing, is gonna be... I don't know if we can, like, reliably... Like, yeah, we can 2-2x through it, definitely, but, like, if we want a actually good damaging punish, like 2-3-6A, I don't think we're gonna get that anymore. Like, with how fast it recovers and how active the thing is. And then lastly, so this is technically punishable, but it's so fast and block stun lasts for so short that I just don't think it's gonna be reasonable to go for it. Like, yeah, if she does every single hit into that, like if there's a clear timing that she always does it, then go for it. But other than that, like, you're not reacting to shielding that move in time to 360B punish it. As far as Eltnum goes, I don't think any of her changes specifically change this matchup. She got a couple buffs, but it's really just to moves that she was already using the way she was using them. Doesn't really change the way the matchup goes. When I read that there was a delay on the whiff cancel here, I was like, oh, maybe it's until landing, but no, it's just... It looks the same to me, so I'm just gonna play it like I always have. Alright, first up for Akatsuki, the EX parry is now plus on block. So before we used to get a throw punish if we did this, but now we are -6 on, you know, if he gets the parry off, which he will. So the answer, if we find ourselves in that position, is probably to creeping edge out of there. Yeah, it's the same frame data, but we're a lot farther. I mean, he's still probably going to dash 2B us, but it's better to make him do that than just sit there and let him 5AS or 2AS or whatever. 6C is supposed to be taller. I don't know how much taller. I don't know. I mean, that looks taller to me. So, jumping's going to be a little scary. And then finally, we do have another 360B punish with Bitatsu. I want to shield the third hit, not all hits, because that's not how that works. So, if we find ourselves without meter, you know, we have 360B now instead of random DP for like half the damage. Honestly, I wasn't planning on saying anything for Ogre, but since he's there, I might as well. A lot of his stuff is safe, so like this thing is only -2, so no official punish there. If we want something, then we have to shield, and of course that's risky because then he can either just no cancel or do the overhead. I think that's an overhead. And then this little thing, yeah, it's minus, but it's pretty fast, so I don't expect to be able to react to that very quickly. And he has a command grab, so you know that that's going to be really hard for Wald to deal with. 5F normals, or 5F normal. It's -3, yeah, but I mean, that's still trading on, you know, a 2A mash. 6 frame -2, so like, he can do that into 5A, and that's not, you know, that's just gonna kill us. That's gonna be pretty hard for us to deal with.